Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. The Minister of Tourism highlights the island's strides in economic growth. A new CEO is said to be announced at the Freeport Container Port. And a 35-year-old seeks closure in a 2015 case.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Yolanda Thompson-Everest. Thanks for tuning in. Topping the news, the resurgence of Grand Bahama remains a key focus for the government, with efforts to drive economic growth showing tangible results. Appearing as a guest on ZNS The Rundown with General Manager Clint Watson, Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chancellor Cooper highlights significant progress in revitalizing the island. Fumiko Knowles leads us off tonight.
There's more going on in the economy of Grand Bahama now than any time that I can remember.
In response to tourism-related matters in Grand Bahama, the Honorable Chester Cooper pointing to the island's improvement in several vital sectors, crediting strategic investments for driving economic growth.
Airlift is growing faster in Grand Bahama than any other island in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, matched only by Abaco. And we're seeing a keen, renewed interest in Grand Bahama. We see the return of American Airlines with increased capacity. We anticipate new airlift to Grand Bahama soon.
Unemployment numbers on Grand Bahama are steadily decreasing, and the tourism minister says it is a direct result of new investments like Carnival Cruise Lines.
$700 million of real investment going into the ground. We're already seeing employment as a result. We see business opportunities. Contractors are engaging and hiring small business persons, whether they're in the food business or whether they're renting apartments. They're looking now to engage new vendors.
The minister pointing out that the island's improved economic performance has not gone unnoticed by corporations, which are now seizing opportunities for investment in Grand Bahama.
We see new projects like the ITM, RCL, MSC Group building another port in Grand Bahama, and significant new investment in hotel resorts as well.
The island is becoming a hub of opportunity once again, with new ventures creating jobs and generating economic activity. As the government continues to work on the resurgence of Grand Bahama, officials remain optimistic about the future.
I'm extremely positive about the future. I know there's been a lot of talk and buzz about the Grand Lucayan Resort. We're making steady progress.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Fumiko Knowles.
Just one station.
Leadership at the Freeport Container Port is back in the spotlight. It has been nearly 2 months since former CEO Alan Dixon tendered his resignation, leaving the top seat vacant. However, that may soon change. Sources close to the operation revealing exclusively to ZNS News that a major announcement could be on the horizon. Shalia Roll reports.
According to anonymous sources, a meeting is scheduled to happen in the coming days between management and staff at the Freeport Container Port. During this meeting, it is expected that a new chief executive officer will be announced. While port officials have remained tight-lipped, insiders allege that the announcement may mark the return of former CEO Godfrey Smith to the helm. This development follows an investigation by auditors who arrived on Grand Bahama in August. The audit was prompted by a public letter from employees raising serious allegations about former CEO Alan Dixon's leadership. The letter accused Dixon of overspending, nepotism, and other questionable practices, leading to growing unrest among the workforce. In a recent interview with ZNS News, PLP Chairman, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, expressed the government's interest in hiring a Bahamian to fill the position.
It would certainly be our view from the progressive of a party that the next step ought to be the hiring of a competent Bahamian who will run the facility and carry out the objectives which the company said it was committed to.
As the port prepares for potential leadership announcements, questions still remain on how the new CEO will address the challenges left behind. Our ZNS News team will continue to follow this story and bring updates as they unfold. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Roll.
A 35-year-old man is seeking justice tonight, pushing for the resolution of a court case that has lingered since 2015. His life changed dramatically after his arrest for possession of an unlicensed firearm, and despite numerous adjournments, the case has remained unresolved. Now, nearly a decade later, he is still waiting for closure. In January 2015, 35-year-old Jordan Knowles was arrested for possession of an unlicensed firearm. Since then, he has remained out on bail, but his case has been repeatedly adjourned over the past 9 years. Knowles says he has never missed a court date, yet he remains perplexed by the ongoing delays within the justice system. The 35-year-old is eager to put this chapter behind him and see his case resolved.
Between Bardwell and just every time I go to court, it's some form of adjournment. It's been crazy. And then I was placed on bail for the case, but they also took my passport. The court had my passport for 8 years.
Although he has since regained possession of his passport, he describes how the justice system has effectively stolen valuable time from him, causing him to miss important trips and milestones with his family.
Trying to get in the UB or BTVI, but I needed my passport to even register to get in the school. So I was unable to until I got my in school now, but I was unable to register. I wasn't able to travel. I had jobs where I needed to travel. I wasn't able to accept the jobs because I just been trapped in a situation.
To further escalate matters, Knowles now faces the additional burden of losing his lawyer, Carlton Sherlin, who had been handling his case. Just months later, the deputy chief magistrate overseeing the case, Debbie Ferguson, also tragically passed away, leading to even more delays in his pursuit to justice.
From what I'm understanding, they're going to have to restart the case to even get any some form of progress.
Attorney at law Constance McDonald weighing in on challenges Knowles faces in securing a timely resolution.
Our Constitution says you're presumed innocent until you're proven guilty. And if you have an offense that lasted for that long, you might as well say you're guilty for all those years, because the Bahamian community doesn't even understand the presumption of innocence. And it is unfair to the young person to have that case hanging for so long.
Knowles' most recent court appearance was on November 6, 2024. However, the case has once again been adjourned, this time to March 3, 2025. He describes the prolonged and exhausting process as overwhelming, expressing that he simply wants to move on with his life. Residents of Grand Key say they are still grappling with unreliable cell phone service, forcing many to turn to Starlink for connectivity. While BTC officials acknowledge the problem, the executive senior manager says progress is being made to address the ongoing outages. Raven Davis has more on the situation in this report.
Residents of Grand Key continue to voice frustration over unreliable cell phone service, with many turning to Starlink for connectivity. Our ZNS News team spoke with a senior BTC official for an update, who says progress is being made to address the ongoing issues.
BTC is pleased to inform the residents of Grand Key that the cell services had been restored over the weekend. Now they may experience some intermittent connectivity as team wait to stabilize the network.
Grand Key resident Craig Cephas acknowledged a temporary improvement in service, but says issues with BTC connectivity persist, leaving many frustrated and missing important calls.
It was down for about 3 days, and it message just came up last night. Like the system up, but it's so bad you can't even put minutes on your phone.
The executive senior manager explained that while service disruption has lasted longer than usual, the issue stems from equipment failure on a cell tower. He assures that work is underway to resolve the problem.
So that was both on the Bassett Cove side as well as Grand Key side. So we are waiting some equipment to be able to install it on the towers. So once that was done, we was able to get the services back up. And so right now at this point, we're just optimizing just so persons will be able to have a lot more stable, reliable service moving forward.
Since Hurricane Dorian, residents have relied solely on mobile services after the storm destroyed much of the island's infrastructure, including telephone poles. Petty also confirming that the company is focused on restoring full telecommunications.
The landline is something that we are actively working on, and so that's what I reference in terms of they would be hearing from us, I would say probably very shortly, within the next month or a month and a half, as relates to landline services.
He says BTC officials are planning several site visits to meet with customers and discuss upcoming service upgrades designed to improve connectivity on that island. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
And still to come.
When we come back, officials prepare to welcome Bahamian WNBA champion Jonquel Jones back home.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Portobello's at the Grand Lacayan invites everyone to a Thanksgiving celebration. Enjoy Sunday brunch on November 24th or Thankful Thursday on November 28th with a buffet and live entertainment. For more details and reservations, call 373-1333.
Here at Freeport Decorators, we have hundreds of products for you to choose from. Whether you're in the market for trophies, plaques, rubber stamps, corporate signs, any kind of interior signage, stamps, or seals, we're your one-stop shop. We feature glass, acrylic, crystal awards for every occasion. We build all the trophies here on site. Looking for a gift item? We feature pens, key rings, mugs, tumblers, barbecue tools, even bamboo cutting boards. Have something already? Bring it on down. Let us see if we can print that special something on it for you. Need a headstone? Memorialize the memory of your loved one with a beautifully lasered granite marker. Our store hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. We focus on customization. So if you have an idea or a new concept, bring it on down or call us at 352-5557 or even WhatsApp your idea to us at 646-0777 and we will do our best to make your awards and recognition ideas a reality.
The Forever Flower Shop. Check out our new selection of artificial flowers and wreaths. Choose stems for your own projects or get a pre-made arrangement as a quick fix to a dull space. If you're a soon-to-be bride, inquire about bulk ordering for floral options that won't break the bank. It's all here at Island Bedding and Furniture, located at number 5 Queens Highway across from Peruvian Veterinary.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
The Minister for Grand Bahama and top brass officers welcomed the official opening of the 8 Mile Walk Police Station in the Western District. The unveiling ceremony taking place at the Obadiah Wilchcombe Complex. Matthew Martin Barrow was there.
A new chapter in community policing has begun with the official opening of a state-of-the-art police station at the Obadiah Wilchcombe Complex in 8 Mile Rock. Government bureaucrats and top Royal Bahamas Police Force officials gathering for the grand unveiling. Speaking at the ceremony, Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, emphasizing the importance of the facility in strengthening law enforcement efforts.
To law enforcement today is to act with predictability in the age of uncertainty, as your strengths and limitations are both challenged. Therefore, the tools necessary, the resources, and the functional work environment must be at your disposal.
Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez commended the government's investment in the community, pledging that efforts to foster trust and cooperation between the police and local residents will continue, now even more efficiently, with the opening of the new station.
It is said that there is a strong correlation between productivity and the work environment. I have no doubt that this new facility, with its updated resources and modern amenities, will support our officers' needs and enable them to perform their duties with greater efficiency, focus, and professionalism.
Assistant Commissioner of Police and Officer in Charge of Grand Bahama, Shanta Knowles, highlighting the station's role in fostering a more proactive environment for both officers and residents in the Western District of Grand Bahama.
This new station is not just an upgrade in infrastructure. It represents the evolution of our dedication to fulfilling the core mission of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the maintenance of law and order, preservation of the peace, prevention and detection of crime, apprehension of offenders, and enforcement of laws that bind our nation.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Matthew Martinborough.
Third Dimension Construction Company, a trusted name in Grand Bahama for over 20 years, recently marked a major milestone with its grand reopening. The event celebrated the company's growth and community impact with support from local leaders and customers. Our Raven Davis has more in this report.
Our venture some 2 decades ago has grown significantly in the past 4 years, expanding into construction supply and tiling services. A special ceremony for the grand reopening of Third Dimension Construction Company officiated by Pastor Lucas Williams, marking this significant milestone with strong support from the local community. The company's owner, Fred Black, reflecting on the brand's growth while emphasizing that the journey is far from over.
I am somewhat elated to see my accomplishment, with the understanding that, well, listen, there's still yet more in me, so there's more that I have to do. So, I must continue to do the things that will help build Grand Bahama.
Opposition leader Michael Pintard praising the Black family's deep-rooted commitment to Grand Bahama, noting their resilience in navigating through the island's economy.
We've lost many iconic companies in Grand Bahama over the years. The team possesses a tremendous faith in God and instinctively believe that when they apply their hearts, minds, and hands to an assignment, that God will reward their work, as long as they back it up with studying the market.
Darren Cooper, a member of Rotary, highlighting the company's ongoing philanthropic endeavors.
Over the years, some 4 years, we've been able to transform the lives of so many because of the commitment of Third Dimension. They were not only our suppliers, but so we were able to convince them to be our donors.
Fred Black Jr. sending this encouraging word to aspiring entrepreneurs.
My thought for the day would be, thoughts create things. Use your mind to engage in the right type of things. Use your mind to engage in empowering things, and anything is possible.
I feel that this is just the beginning of what's to come for Third Dimension. We just appreciate all the customers and all the support that we've been getting over the years, and we just look forward for more continued growth.
Now the event concluding on a high note with customers exploring the store and enjoying light refreshments. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
It It's expected to be a celebration like none other. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture will stage its first slate of celebratory activities for WNBA champion and finals MVP Jonquel Jones in Grand Bahama. The Grand Motorcade is set for November 16th, starting from the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. But Deputy Director of Sports in the North, Norris Bain, said the celebration will start the moment she arrives on island.
Lord's willing, tomorrow, the 14th day of November, we're inviting all Grand Bahamians, as many Grand Bahamians as possible, to come to the Grand Bahama International Airport, where Jonquel will touch down at about 11:31 tomorrow morning. And we want all and sundry to be out there to give this Grand Bahamian hero a warm welcome back to the island of Grand Bahama.
The Grand Motorcade will start at 9 a.m. and make its way to Holmes's Rock, where clinics will be hosted. But before she gets there, Cecil Thompson says the welcome into 8 Mile Rock will be one spectators don't want to miss.
Residents of West Grand Bahama will give Jonquel Jones and a teammate a welcome that is second to none in the history of Grand Bahama. There's no question about it. I don't want to tell you too much about it because we want you to come. We want you to come. Saturday is going to be a celebration the like Grand Bahama has not seen in a long, long, long time.
So Shane, a big motorcade for our WNBA champion is planned for tomorrow. Anything else happening in sports?
Yes, last night the Tropics Falcons, the Sunline Stingers put on an instant classic. You guys don't want to miss the highlights.
All right, sounds great. Sports is up next, but first, a check on weather.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
Have you been waiting for windows? Then wait no more. Cornets Bahamas have in stock now PVC sliding windows, casement windows, and impact sliding windows with mirror tinted glass, all in different sizes and styles. Call us at 352-1301 or visit any of our 4 locations in Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera for the great products and great prices. Open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. Cornets Bahamas, dream, design, deliver.
At Harvey's Tech Bargains, West Mall Plaza, find the best deals on smart TVs, laptops, game consoles, tablets, cell phone accessories, gift cards, and so much more. Open Monday through Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Island Dreams Productions presents The Affair, a thrilling show coming to the Regency Theater Saturday, November 23rd at 8 p.m. and Sunday, November 24th at 4 p.m. Get your tickets now, $40 in advance or $50 at the door. Third Dimension is back and better than ever for all of your home improvement needs, from tools and plumbing to housewares and a brand new paint center. Stop by Third Dimension, call 352-6126 and get started on your next project today.
Attention Freeport! Get ready to fuel up faster with the Focal Smart Pass app. Say goodbye to long lines and hello to convenience at your fingertips. Pay at the pump and get back on the road in no time when you use the Focal Smart Pass app. Download the Focal Smart Pass app. Fuel up faster at all Freeport Oil Company service stations. Download and fuel up faster today.
Ladies and gents, I'm Shane Stubbs and welcome to Sports. Well, the Sunline Stingers are once again champions of the IL Cares Tip-Off Basketball Classic. Here's all the sights and sounds from last night's action.
The Sabanako Falcons building momentum early in the contest with Gianno Murray knocking down the corner three. Later in the half, tied at 20, Jamarion Aubrey got into the lane for the tough hoop through contact, giving the Stingers a 22-20 lead. Down the stretch, Brian Cezalian would knock down the mid-range J to put the Stingers up 26-20 at the half. Early in the third, Aubrey would knock down the contested three. He'd finished with 20 points on the night. The Falcons not going away though, with Anthony Mezek faking out his defender with the pump fake and the handles, knocking down the three, hoping to spark the Falcons' offense. However, Jermaine Woodside would get going, knocking down 2 of his 16 points with the mid-range J. He'd go to work again, getting the hoop and harm to extend the lead, as the Stingers would put this one to bed, 62-55, notching their 5th straight tip-off classic title. Coach Jay and Marcos say this one feels even sweeter.
To win 5 championships is so much work and effort and dedication. My guys is working all year long, and I'm just so happy that they was able to experience this victory.
I'm just overwhelmed, man. Those guys, they listen to us. Myself, we're young coaches. We've been fortunate to have some great guys in the last 5 years.
For Woodside, he was named the most valuable player, but he and Aubrey believe it was a total team effort that started from the offseason.
We had 2 early losses. Everybody counted us out. They doubted us. But we know as a group how hard we work and how good we were. So we just came out to play every night.
We underdogs. We never give up. We keep our head straight, keep our head up, and continue to win.
Woodside, Aubrey, and Silvano Gibson are featured on the all-tournament team for Sunland. Murray, Morris, and Mizik were listed from the Falcons. Also listed are Isaiah Roker and Mikhail Nesbitt for the St. George's Jaguars, LaThorne Augustine for the Jockeyville Wildcats, Liam Carroll and LaVaughn Cooper for the BMAS Warriors, and Hakeem Wilkinson for the 8 Mile Rock Blue Jays.
About to check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Shane Stubbs. Your Facebook friend of the day is up next.
Special guest. Oh, take a look around, darling. It is glad to see we are even much better than we used to be. All our people are friendly. We take this thing seriously. That's why we just give you all the highest quality. Welcome to the Bahamas. We hope that you're feeling fine. We roll out the long red carpet to show you a real good time. We shape ourselves to drop ship. We plan to give you the best. We gonna treat you like your family, darling. You're our special guest. Some folks love you to relax, while other folks...
We offer affordable and flexible choices to get you back to financial fitness. Our personalized debt consolidation solution is built to fit any financial situation. One easy-to-handle monthly payment reduces your monthly expenses and gets you back on track to savings. Life is great when you're not weighed down by debt. Consolidate and live your...
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the face of the country's fight against climate change makes another desperate plea to the international community for the right to life, hope, and continuity as the cost of inaction increases. Also, hear the tourism minister's long-term vision for the renaissance of downtown Nassau. And we have the details of what's on tap for the Department of Immigration's big transition. Find out what's in store and the end goal. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now. The right to survival. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. Heat waves, droughts, floods, fires, tornadoes, hurricanes, you name it. The events of this year alone adding serious weight to an argument small island developing states have advanced now for years. And that is that survival in the face of ongoing climate change hangs by a thread. Yet there are still those who look at these signs, as Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis bluntly put in today during a leaders' summit in Azerbaijan, as merely isolated moments, coincidences, or bad weather. All this while the worsening impact of Mother Nature's catastrophes go up against the inability of SIDS to access concessional financing due to what the Prime Minister reasons are outdated eligibility rules.
Even as we have reached agreement at the United Nations on a multi-dimensional vulnerability index, we have yet to see international financial institutions commit to its use. Grants for adaptation take too long to access and are insufficient to meet the scale of our climate-resilient development needs. We implore bilateral and multilateral partners to scale up resources for adaptation and loss and damage, and to ensure that SIDS can access these funds at scale, quickly, without excessive and costly bureaucracy, and in the form of grants.
And going further to borrow an argument, CARICOM Chair Dickon Mitchell has advanced. The Prime Minister stressed that while SIDS are not contributing and have not contributed to climate change, they've spent 18 times more in debt repayment than they have received in climate finance. Adaptation funding, he says, must be prioritized.
I will call for 70% of climate finance to be directed to adaptation for SIDS. This is not a request, but a necessity. Adaptation is our right to prepare and to protect. Furthermore, the Loss and Damage Fund must become a tool of immediate relief, not a maze of red tape. Bureaucratic delay is an injustice to every community left exposed and unprepared. We do not seek favors, we seek fairness.
Back here in the capital, a lot of activity in the trifecta of ministries: tourism, investments, and aviation. In fact, the man with cabinet oversight is confident growth will soon be seen in these agencies that will translate into a nationwide economic boom. Aldavis Munnings has the story.
Let's start with downtown Nassau. Tourism officials are hoping to get to the 12 million visitor mark by the end of 2024. And to do that, they must upgrade the current atmosphere of the city center into what the Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Acting Prime Minister the Honorable Chester Cooper, has dubbed as the Renaissance of Nassau. Essentially, the goal is to bring back that old Nassau charm.
We hope ultimately to be able to create enough of an entertainment buzz downtown to attract cruise ships to stay later at night or to stay overnight.
$10 billion in investments is what the Davis administration has generated so far, and government has 2 more years to cultivate even more. But the acting prime minister is of the view that foreign direct investment is the fastest way to grow the economy.
We've gone beyond the traditional USA, Canada, UK countries, and we are building relationships in the Middle East. As you've seen, we have gotten funding for some of our key projects, namely the Nordi Luthra Airport. We're building tourism. We're getting new investments. We have seen some investments already from the Middle East. I've taken a special interest in this region. As we have seen in Africa, we're getting inquiries on a weekly, monthly basis of new entities.
And then there's a steady progress in the aviation sector. With more airlift and Family Island Airport upgrades, government sees this as the oxygen for tourism.
Emirates, we are hoping for a direct service, but we are in this is an active process, and I've got to tell you, we've been working on this for 2.5 years. We're in active engagement with Qatar Airways. We continue to work with them. We are seeing new airlift by Bahamas Air into Grand Bahama from Florida, going to be announced soon. Bahamas Air is doing an inaugural flight to Montego Bay, Jamaica.
The acting prime minister contends that the government will continue to work hard in tourism, investments, and aviation to prove its value and enhance the lives of Bahamians nationwide. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altaviz Munnings.
Thanks, Altaviz. In other news this evening, the Department of Immigration's in the middle of a makeover to both its physical structures and its in-house operations. Our Corval Pyfrom recently sat down with the department's leadership team and has the first in a series of reports on how immigration is redoing its image.
In a rare, wide-ranging interview, Immigration Director William Pratt and his top senior executive leadership team providing an update on some of the initiatives being undertaken to make the department and its processes more efficient, modern, and less time-consuming. But at the forefront, the director wanted to correct a historic misconception.
We don't just arrest persons and repatriate. Our work is far more than that.
The department is in the process of digitizing its files, as many as 5,000 per month. Many of these were previously being kept in cabinet drawers and in some cases on the floor in a storeroom. At times, files have even gone missing. Many more have been damaged, leaving applicants in limbo. This upgrade, Director Pratt says, which is being done entirely in-house, is a step towards tightening efficiency.
All of the old files, the old records, will be able to be online for us who are working applications.
The director and his executive team know what the complaints have been from the public. Admittedly, the Department of Immigration is also redoing its image. This means enhancing and increasing training of its staff.
We want to ensure that our officers are fully trained and that they have all the tools necessary, because we are part of the global community, the global world, and we work closely with CARICOM. You have the CARICOM Impact agency that all of the immigration and customs in the whole Caribbean, we work together on a daily basis.
And soon, as early as April of 2025, the department will become an almost one-stop shop with almost all services available under one roof.
We have citizenship on Bay Street. And we have the Ministry at Charlotte House, and we have immigration here. Well, that building is going to be able to put all us under one roof.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Pyfrom.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
At Commonwealth Bank, we offer affordable and flexible choices to get you back to financial fitness. Our personalized debt consolidation solution is built to fit any financial situation. One easy-to-handle monthly payment reduces your monthly expenses and gets you back on track to savings. Life is great when you're not weighed down by debt. Consolidate and live your best life with Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
To love with our KFC Bucket Meals with larger size. Get the KFC Family Bucket featuring 8 pieces of juicy chicken, family fries, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4. A KFC Deluxe Bucket with 10 pieces of delicious chicken, 2 larger sides, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4 to 6. Or a KFC Party Bucket with 15 pieces of our more chicken, 3 larger sides, and 6 biscuits that feed 6. And we'll handle the dishes, plates, and utensils included, so you can lick your fingers in peace. KFC knows value, and it's finger licking good.
Sounds of Christmas.
Amari, it's time to go. Amari!
This holiday season, don't get left behind. Stay connected with lightning-fast fiber internet from BTC. When you sign up for a BTC fiber bundle, you can also get a $500 gift card on us. So you see, being home alone isn't so bad when you're holidaying with BTC.
Amari!
Be sure to visit one of our stores today.
In the Bahamas, island time is real. The history of Morris Lumber Company, established in 1945, is etched into the fabric of this proud island nation. It's a story that deserves to be celebrated in full color, and that's where we come in. Morris, the paint place, has been bringing color and vitality to homes and businesses across the Bahamas. Here, color is more than just a hue, it's a symbol of life. Together, we can paint a brighter future.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
You're looking at footage of the beautiful city of Nassau. This drone shot coming from Paradise Island heading south is courtesy of our drone pilot, Neville Smith. Good job, Neville. In other news this evening, the state of the local economy, a topic of discussion at the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants seminar this morning. Financial Secretary Simon Wilson asked which sector is a pressure point as he addressed the financial affairs of the Bahamas, said the lack of honest information about the economy and the interpretation of fiscal results.
One of the big arguments I have internally, domestically I should say, is that, internationally, we are viewed as a very strong performer. 3 years ago, this administration inherited a deficit of 13.4, 13.5%. Last year is 1.2%.
Wilson says he finds it unbelievable and concerning that 90% of the population shared the opinion via survey that the government is too aggressive in taxes.
By and large, over the last 3 years, there have been no general tax increases. There have been a more focus on compliance, all right? A more focus on compliance, because non-compliance is an invisible tax on everybody. If you don't pay your taxes, it means we have to borrow, and then your taxes will increase going forward. But that message seems to be lost in the morass of information.
Meantime, money, a desirable yet delicate asset which not many people are of much knowledge about beyond making and spending it. But it's much more complex than that, so much so that some argue financial literacy should be taught in schools. Well, Central Bank Governor John Roll today simplified budgeting, a fundamental component of financial literacy.
The idea of a budget is recognizing that there might be more activities that you want to do than the funds that you have available. So the simplest tip that I have for individuals when it comes to budgeting is just to write things down. Writing it out is useful, and so that you can also factor that into how much funds you give yourself to spend separate and apart from savings.
Now, when it comes to saving, banks are automatically part of the conversation. Recently, there have been debates on social media on which bank is best. Well, asked what Bahamians should be looking for when determining which to choose, here's what the central bank governor had to say.
I know that often there is a relationship where we have a deposit account, and often you might have loan facilities. So if you're in both a credit relationship and there's a positive relationship, it will often mean that you're gonna bank wherever you're getting that credit service, and so that's not a bad way to break the tie.
Officials say since the Ministry of Education launched the school attendance hotline earlier this year, there's been considerable improvement in student attendance. Education Director Dominic McCartney-Russell says the public's been engaged and responsive in assisting officials with reducing the level of truancy. She told reporters earlier this week that while the hotline is an asset, ensuring children are in school when they should be must be an holistic effort.
Over 100 persons from the community called in concerning students who were not in school during school hours. And as a result of that, our attendance officers, our monitors, have been able to go and find those children and, of course, speak with their parents and also speak with our partners, because we partner with social services, urban renewal.
The director also stresses the importance of parents who find themselves struggling or unable to get their children to school to reach out, adding that support is available to those in need.
Sometimes students have lack in terms of the basic needs, and so they are not in school. And so as a result of us finding those children, we're able to support those parents. We kind of create a one-stop shop for parents, so they understand that, listen, there's no reason for children to be at home. During school hours, they should be in school. And so we're going to support you to ensure that students come to school.
Well, let's talk disability. North Abaco residents getting the opportunity to do just that during a town hall meeting put on by the Ministry of Social Services. Our Devontae Hanna and his cameraman Victor Adley are on the island.
We're coming to you live from Cooperstown, Abaco, here at Faith Walk Church of God, where the Ministry of Social Services Information and Broadcasting, in conjunction with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, are having, or beginning, that is, a series of town hall meetings here on the island. Now, the main purpose of these town hall meetings is, of course, to inform the residents of what they can get, the services, that is, that the Ministry of Social Services provides. And, of course, tonight is all about Let's Talk Disabilities. That is the theme, and it stems from the NCPD, which was established back in 2014, or under the Equal Opportunities Act back in 2014, aimed at ending discrimination against persons with disabilities. And of course, tonight you may hear me talk a lot about disabilities, and in fact, I have Mr. Townsley Roberts. He is the Deputy Executive Secretary of the NCPD. Mr. Roberts, firstly, congratulations to you and your team. But I wanted to know if you can tell me a little bit about what the scores of residents who are here at this town hall meeting, what can they expect tonight?
Good night, Bahamas. One thing you're going to expect tonight is that we are going to follow our mandate, which is to educate and inform persons with disabilities and persons who don't have a disability, but if you live long enough, you may end up with a disability, about their rights as a person with a disability, about all the services that the government of the Bahamas offers through the Department of Social Services free of charge. So we want persons to know what they can find to help them with their situations. From the department we have here, NCPD is the agency that protects your rights. So even though we are here, our office in Nassau is still openly manned by our Executive Secretary, Ms. Desiree Clark. But we're going to register persons here with disability also. We work along with the DRM authority so that we want to make sure we know where all our persons are before, during, and after natural disasters, so we can account for them. We must learn from previous experiences, but we got to ensure that our persons are protected, are treated with respect, and this is part of what we do here. So we can canvass the northern part of Abaco tonight, and we're going to talk with those individuals here, and not just the citizens of the Bahamas, but also the residents of the Bahamas. We don't discriminate. We also the agency that follows complaints about non-accessibility. We also are here doing inspections of all public buildings, and let me say it again, all public businesses, and to ensure that they follow the law. There is a law that states that persons with disabilities should have the same right to interact as any other Bahamian.
And I know that this will be the first of several town hall meetings here on the island. Where can residents across Abaco get to see or get a chance to hear from the minister and your team?
Yes, sir. Tomorrow night we will be in Sandyport at the Sandyport Primary School at 6:30 tomorrow night. And on Friday night, we will be at the Patrick Bethel High School and Marsh Harbor. And on Saturday, we'll actually be at Maxwell's grocery store and Abaco Group Markets, where we will be registering persons to ensure they're counted, and that information, that data will help us to advocate with the government of Bahamas to offer more free services.
Yes, so definitely the Ministry of Social Services, along with the NCBD, will be completely busy this weekend. But at this moment, the Minister of Social Services, the Honorable Miles LaRota, has actually mounted the podium. In just a few more moments, there will be a question and answer period for these residents here. Those that are in attendance have already heard from the chairperson of the Human Rights of Persons with Disabilities, as well as Bishop Chadrick James, the Gender and Family Affairs Unit, as well as Mrs. Jillian Bethel, who is the Director of the Disability Affairs Division. And of course, at the conclusion of this event, we'll have a full report on what exactly happened and what updates can we expect tomorrow night in a newscast. So from North Africa and Cooperstown, I'm going to send it back to you, Makushla.
Well, thanks so much, Devontae. Stay with us. On the Beat is after the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Over a decade ago, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies was birthed out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long. Yet, the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
It's good to be alive this holiday season. Alive is partnering with Western Air to bring 4 lucky Bahamian students home for the holidays for free. If you're a student studying in Florida, all you have to do is share a creative video showing us why it's good to be home for the holidays with the hashtags
It's good to be home and it's good to be alive.
And don't forget to check out our live social media pages and bealive.com to see if you're eligible.
It's good to be alive when things free.
And it's even better to be home for the holidays.
Holiday season, the Ministry of Energy and Transport is bringing light back to Bahamian homes. Through our partnership with Bahamas Power and Light, we're offering the Merry and Bright Holiday Reconnection Program, so you can pay as little as 10% of your outstanding balance and get reconnected. Just in time for the holidays. Pay a little, light up a lot. The Ministry of Energy and Transport is committed to making sure no family is left in the dark this season.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
News is brought to you by RBC's Holiday Home and Auto Expo, November 16th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at RBC's JFK location in Royal Star House.
The holidays right on our heels, with many crafting their list. But before heading out to shop, the president of the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants cautions buyers. Desmond Saunders fills us in tonight's Consumer Tips feature.
With the holiday countdown approaching, Bahamian consumers are expected to hit various retail outlets to secure the best Christmas deals, gifts, and purchases, as holiday spending is expected to hit an all-time high this year.
We've been consistent as far as our economy and the numbers, and I think it will continue. As far as budgeting, it's time to get lean and mean. Even though it's Christmas time, and I know we try to spend more and do more, and especially for loved ones, but you got to think about the coming year. So you got to make sure that as you budget, you also think about the future. And just as governments and households are doing, we also got to do the same thing.
With economic forecasts showing expansion for 2025, and as the Bahamas experiences strong economic growth bolstered by tourism and financial services, President of the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants, Pitino Aubrey, cautions residents to spend wisely.
You got to cut the Netflix. You got to cut those things that is not as important. You know, everyone's. You know, you've been told before certain things that are considered leisure. Now you got to think about what is really that you need, and those are the type of expenses that you should be thinking about and taking into the future. And then you got to cast away those that just doesn't make sense.
He advises that reckless spending could lead to a hefty bill at the end of the holiday season. Limit what you can buy to what can safely come out of your bank account. Sticking to a budget is a good way to keep yourself out of debt any time of the year. And remember to give the gift of love. Spread love this holiday season. Desmond Saunders of Bahamas Tonight.
Excellent advice there, Desmond. And standing by are LaDon and Marcellus, who are just waiting to give us a sneak peek of access now, guys.
Because, you know, Leno is going to tell us this evening to save. But I see Marcellus, he's going to do a little shopping, but I think he's only going to spend like maybe $25
I'm on a $50 budget.
So, yeah, so he's on a budget. But, you know, Black Friday is coming, and so is Cyber Monday. So I'm sure, you know, us women, we probably would be looking at those
Marcellus,
deals. You know
I'm not going to fall into that ditch that LaDon has for me. So I'm siding with you tonight. But stay with us. Our feature story is up next. Have you been waiting for windows? Then wait no more. Cornets Bahamas have in stock now PVC sliding windows, casement windows, and impact sliding windows with mirror tinted glass, all in different sizes and styles. Call us at 352-1301 or visit any of our 4 locations in Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera for the great products and great prices. Open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. Cornets Bahamas, dream, design, deliver.
$10 deal available only at Marco Southwest, Prince Charles, Village Road, and Robinson Road. Fine, let me see what it's about. I'll take 20 of those, please. Wait. You good? Yeah, bro, Marcos, get this new deal. Get yourself a large one-topping pizza for only $10. $10? Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Hey, I need 30 of them $10 carry-out pizza deal, please.
Celebrate them all at simple value and quality. Supermarkets. Hunt's ketchup, 32-ounce, $2.99. Kraft mayonnaise, 30-ounce, $6.99. Fresh celery, 2 for $5. Chick-fil-A quarters, 10-pound bag, 99 cents per pound. Final plastic tonic, 10.5 ounces, $1.19. Ace price, $28.56. A full variety of Butterball and Jenny-O turkeys, plus regular picnic hams are at simple value and quality. Supermarkets.
Sounds of Christmas.
Amari, it's time to go. Amari!
This holiday season, don't get left behind. Stay connected with lightning-fast fiber internet from BTC. When you sign up for a BTC fiber bundle, you can also get a $500 gift card on us. So you see, being home alone isn't so bad when you're holidaying with BTC. Be sure to visit one of our stores today.
Before we leave, here's a question for you. Were you kind today? Well, just in case you were, and it's still not too late today, every November 13th marks World Kindness Day. Time to emphasize the importance of empathy and positivity to create a more caring world. This year's theme, embracing kindness in daily life. And those of you who haven't already done so, there's still time to perhaps spread positivity with a compassionate post on social media or by sending a message to loved ones. You can also send an encouraging email. And that does it for the National Report. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
Today, we had the culmination of the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative in a press conference. We were here to celebrate 83 women who were awarded grant funding up to $10,000 each. Those 83 recipients totaling a grant funding over $600,000 for their concept, their business, whether it is starting or it is expanding. And so we've had recipients across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and many of the Family Islands. And so we were excited to celebrate them. We were honored to have members of our SBDC team, members of the board, particularly and most special honored guest, Mrs. Anne-Marie Davis, who made sure that it was a priority within her schedule to celebrate with us and all of the grant recipients here today.
To learn more about the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative, visit our website or contact us at 461-7232. And remember, empowered women empower women.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
During an address to the Cat Island Business Outlook 2024, Director General of the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Latia Duncombe, laid out the importance of cooperation between the ministry and the people of Cat Island.
I don't have to say Cat Island is beautiful. You look outside and you see the natural beauty. But it's important for us to package, promote it, and protect it at the same time. Now, when the visitors come to the destination, it's you that are delivering on the experience. So we're going to lift it, package, promote it, and put it out there for the billions of the traveling public to see. And when they come, they want to experience the authenticity of Cat Island. We have an amazing people-to-people program in the Bahamas, led by our General Manager, Bastian, who also has responsibility for Cat Island as well. And these experiences have been around for decades because they want a day in the life of a Bahamian. And we have these ambassadors on islands throughout the destination. Today, it's a visitor and the local. Tomorrow, they're friends. And after that, they become family. When we get the first visitor here, we have to make sure that the experience is amazing, it's enriched. And when we do that, that visitor then becomes a walking billboard. And they're gonna tell someone else. And then so we then continue in our efforts to bring more. And we have to make sure every interaction that it leaves a lasting impression so that when they leave, they cannot stop talking about the residents of Cat Island. And the only way we do that is to make sure we're all connected. Sometimes it's technical, sometimes it's vocational, but we need it all to make the sector work.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
Mental health in the workplace is top priority. A leading therapist tells us why. His thoughts straight ahead.
Plus, heavy rains from Hurricane Oscar has impacted operations at Inagua's key employer, Morton Salt.
And it's Wednesday, so that means it's Leno Wealthwise time. Keep locked up for that.
And coming up in sports, private schools advance in high school softball playoffs.
Tonight Access Now starts now.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Marcellus Hall.
And I'm LaDon Davis. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Access Now.
Well, LaDon, I have to ask, and I know you hail from Harbor Island. Have you heard anything about the rattlesnake? Any of your relatives telling anything about this elusive rattlesnake that's running around?
They haven't, and I don't think they would want to at this time, but, you know, we'll have more coming up later on in the show.
I can't wait for that. So let's dive right on in, shall we? Yeah. Well, accounting professionals today hearing less about numbers and more about the importance of coping with the daily stresses of work life. Danielle Dean fills us in with the details.
Setting boundaries is said to be a healthy thing in relationships. But according to cognitive behavioral therapist and speaker Harrison Thompson, the same's to be said if you're not only looking to have a good work life, but maintain mental health in the workplace. For Thompson, it's important you get to learn and understand coworkers, as not everyone communicates and receives information the same way.
Sometimes we like to think that because we're doing a good thing, it should be automatically received with open arms. We've already established in our mind the kind of reaction we want from this person because what we're doing is a good thing. But because we didn't pay attention to the individual, this good thing actually turned out to be the wrong thing.
As Thompson tells it, emotional intelligence and self-accountability are two qualities that help produce more meaningful interactions and relationships and an overall healthier environment.
You don't want to be someone whose decisions are determined by what they feel. Rather, you want to be someone whose decisions are determined by who they are. So mental health is less concerned about how you feel, and it's more greatly defined by the quality of how you are responding to what you feel.
Employers are increasingly being called on to take mental health seriously. Experts argue that doing so only increases productivity, creativity, and happiness. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Thanks a lot, Danielle. Well, regulating and monitoring locals and our visitors bringing exotic animals to the country has been an extremely difficult task. This according to ecologist and owner of the Science and Perspective brand, Dr. Angelino Davis, who believes that how the diamondback rattlesnake arrived on Harbor Island and could have possibly reproduced. But is our healthcare facilities fully prepared, he says, to take action or provide anti-venom packages if a resident or visitor is bitten by this venomous snake? Well, Dr. Angelino Davis responded like this.
Are not generally prepared for snake envenomation. Our clinics or our hospitals aren't prepared to admit someone or evacuate someone from Harbor Island to get them the medical response that they need for a snake bite, for a venomous snake bite right now. So the sooner we can get professionals there to find and remove the snake, and the sooner we can set up a permanent monitoring situation to determine where that snake came from.
But after that, Dr. Davis says spotting exotic creatures that are not indigenous to the Bahamas isn't an unusual occurrence, as we also have a cane toad invasion right here in the capital. But if a resident encounters a rattlesnake wandering around in their yard or near their property, here's how he says you should approach it.
Don't harass the snake. If you don't have the professional training, don't try to capture it, don't try to handle it. Even don't try to chop it, right? People like to chop up snakes in the Bahamas. Document it. You can take a photo or video of the snake.
Still to come, it's Wednesday, so it's time for Leno's Wealthwise. Stay close for that on the other side of the break.
We eat, the brands we meet, and the specials at super value and quality supermarkets. Rainbow sliced beets, 15-ounce, $1.29. Whole chicken wings, $1.89 per pound. Fresh limes, 3 for $1. Great American white shrimp meat, 12 ounces, $3.99. Sunny Delight smooth or tangy, 64 ounces, 2 for $5. A full variety of Butterball and Jenny-O turkeys, plus regular picnic hams, are super value and quality supermarkets.
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with a live business bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool to keep you connected and easily send important updates, event reminders, and emergency alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from a live business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is the premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
And right now, you're looking at a shot of Fusion Superplex there on JFK Drive. Drone pilot Destiny Reed, with the steady hand, is out there flying. Good job, Des. Let's take a look now, a flight down to Inagua. Hopefully Destiny's not flying that one, to see what's happening as the country's best-kept secret.
Family Island News is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
The post-Hurricane Oscar recovery exercise continues in the country's southernmost island of Inagua. According to officials, the Category 1 storm poured some 10 inches of rain on that island. That heavy rain impacted operations at the island's key employer, Morton Salt. President of the Bahamas Industrial Manufacturer Allied Workers Union, Richard Ingram, the union representing Morton Salt workers, gave this update.
The crystallized salt ponds, which was played a vital role in our reduction process, where several are affected by the excess rainfall. Immediately after the storm passed, management and team on the site took a swift action to drain the fresh water from the salt pond. However, despite their effort, the process took longer than they expected because the salt in those ponds has started to dissolve.
Morton Salt management met with the union to garner feedback on proposing a temporary 3-day work week for employees.
We highlighted our workers' commitment and meeting the production target and the recent signing of our industrial agreement, which is underscore the commitment. After careful consideration, I am pleased to announce that Morton Salt corporate directors and management recognize the hard work and dedication that they decided to reverse to the proposal and ensure that the employees will continue with their 40 hours work week.
Well, in today's economy, financial planning is more important than ever for small business owners. Many entrepreneurs are facing challenges like managing cash flow, handling taxes, and preparing for the unexpected. Tonight, experts at Leno Corporate Services give us a closer look at why financial planning is essential for business success and some key strategies to keep in mind.
Running a business is no small feat. It can be rewarding, but it also comes with financial uncertainties, which is why having a solid plan in place can make all the difference.
Financial planning is very important for small business owners because it helps them to create a roadmap that gives the company direction in terms of preparing for their revenues, expenses, and just to be able to foresee any pitfalls that may come their way into the future.
One of the biggest aspects of financial planning is cash flow management. Tracking all the money coming in and going out of the business is vital, as cash flow problems can arise even when business is profitable. Without enough cash on hand to cover expenses, a business can quickly find itself in trouble. Another area that often trips up small business owners is VAT.
As a small business owner, if you fall into the category of VAT filing, it's suggested and recommended that you set aside on a monthly basis sufficient funds or money to ensure that at quarter end you would have met that VAT obligation.
Planning for VAT ahead of time helps business owners reduce their overall tax burden and avoid financial strain when VAT is due. And when it comes to business savings, expert at Leno recommends setting aside enough to cover 3 to 6 months worth of expenses as a safety net for slow periods or emergencies. So with all that, what makes a solid financial plan?
The key elements for a solid financial plan for business are to ensure that you have a proper budget in place, to monitor your budget, to be flexible as you put a budget in place, and to ensure that a proper cash flow management is also practiced as a small business owner.
Sound financial planning is the backbone of any successful small business. Next week, we meet with Leno to talk about the ins and outs of insurance. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Diane Dorset.
Well, Lano is definitely right on that one. Financial planning is a must. Meanwhile, coming up in Sports for Tonight, the high school softball playoffs are underway. We'll tell you which teams moved on and which teams are the season. That's all ahead in sports.
Hey, Mom, can you look after Kaylee?
Sorry, I'll be out for a while dealing with my home and car insurance.
What? You know there's a newer way, right?
A new way?
Where have you been? Look, go to newerinsurance.com, log in, get your quote, buy your insurance, done. You can even use it to manage your claim.
Oh? By the way, it's not newer. It's N-U-A. Where's she been?
Do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you can be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk a catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in the car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
Welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check here on a Hump Day Wednesday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Well, yesterday was win or go home day as the BISS moved into its sudden death playoffs over at Freedom Farm. Girls softball on the stage. Amajal knows, taking in all the action that tells us who moved on and who wrapped up their season.
Survive and Advance is the theme of the day on Tuesday at Freedom Farm, the site of the BAISS Sudden Death Softball Playoffs. 4 games on the slate. Let's get to the highlights, starting things in junior girls. Aquinas Ace is taking on the Queens College Comets. This one would be a high-scoring affair. A lot of errors, though, on both sides. Ultimately, it would be the 2 seed punching their ticket to the big dance. The Comets would win this one via mercy rule, 20-10.
I feel like today we did very well. We were able to keep our momentum and energy up throughout the game. And when somebody foot was down or made a mistake, we were able to get them back up and make adjustments. And I feel like our opponents put up a good fight today.
I feel like we came out with our A game with a goal set in mind, not as one individual, but as a unit. So I feel like we came out ready to win and do our due. But I also feel like the opponents, they came out stronger, but we still kept together and did what we had to do.
For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Amajal Knowles.
All right, thanks, Alma. Well, BISS Swimming Championships taking place today. Taking a look now at your standings. Queens College on top. They finished up with 393 points, followed by St. Anne's, who had 349. SAC third with 264. Lightfoot Key International School fourth with 241. And Windsor School rounding out your top 5 schools with 220 points. 2 Sons of the Soil going head-to-head last night in the NBA as Klay Thompson and the Dallas Mavericks taking on his former team, the Golden State Warriors, which is now the home of Grand Bahama native Buddy Hield. This one a pretty good game, going right down to the wire, but it would be the Warriors getting the win, 120-117. Buddy would score 14 points in 20 minutes. Klay dropping in 22 in the losing cause. And that's it. Your look at sports here on this Wednesday. Our Wednesday weather just ahead. Stay with us.
Our company has a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done. But at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
One of the biggest decisions you will make when remodeling a kitchen is the design choice for your kitchen cabinets. Whether you want your kitchen to look modern or traditional, the Casablanca White Shaker cabinets will make a sound choice. Stop into Conard Bahamas today and let them enhance your kitchen with the Casablanca White Shaker cabinets. At Conard Bahamas, they also carry an array of Calacatta quartz countertops. Conard Bahamas, Sandyport, Nassau, Freeport, Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Eleuthera.
It's time now for your Access Weather Forecast and LaDawn. Some chilly weather is on the way, should be here over the weekend, so brace yourself for it. But right now, our live weather radar is showing dry conditions throughout the 700 islands. And in the tropics, we continue to monitor this area of showers and thunderstorms, which we anticipate will become the next tropical depression, possibly a tropical storm as early as tomorrow. Further intensification of this system is anticipated as it meanders in the western Caribbean Sea for several days, and then it will take that turn towards the north and eventually towards the northeast, and guess what? Could affect the northwest Bahamas next week, Thursday. So we'll keep our eyes on the system very, very closely. Our boating forecast tonight is brought to you by our live business, where you're always protected during the worst storms. In the northwest and central islands tonight, northeast to east winds 15 to 25 knots, very rough seas, 5 to 8 feet over the ocean. So we have an advisory in place for your boaters. Low tide takes place at 11:31 tonight. In the southeastern islands, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots, caution flags up, seas 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. And then as we take you into Thursday in the northwest and central island, we have a slight reduction in those winds, becoming easterly at 12 to 18 knots, the wave height subsiding 3 to 6 feet. So we go from an advisory to a caution flag tomorrow. Now, your high tide tomorrow, that will happen at 5:53 in the morning, with a low tide at 12:29 in the afternoon. And for the southeast Bahamas Thursday, easterly winds maintaining that speed, 15 to 20 knots, wave heights 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. Friday in the northwest and central island, we have light and variable winds. Flat seas, we will drop all of those caution flags for you. High tide 6:44 in the morning, with the low tide taking place at 1:13 in the afternoon. And for the southeastern islands, northeast to east winds, 10 to 15 knots, wave heights down 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
They'll collect us, them call it, harassing me night and day. But my paycheck is gonna add up. Listen, I need a raise, yeah. Can't go to nobody.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. Marcellus LaDawn.
All right, thanks, Bass. So no rain in sight, it seems, LaDawn. So that's definitely right up your alley. What's next?
Definitely up my alley. But as always, here's Matea Cunningham with Let's Talk Socials.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Matea, and welcome back to Let's Talk Social, where I keep you in the loop on all things trending in the world of social media. Tonight, we've got a few laughs lined up. So grab your phone, get comfy, and let's dive into what's got everyone buzzing online this week. We're talking about a lip sync trend today, specifically a song from our brother over in Barbados, Father Phyllis. For a bit of context, there's a popular video of a young man at an outing having a drink while listening to the catchy tune by Phyllis. Out of excitement and what appears to be adrenaline, he screams, creating the popular sound going viral today.
Whoa.
Jesus.
Be so sweet, no flaws. Sweet girl and warm, what could be your jaws? Fit for pole, pole P for all. What the teeth and the slop shorts. Jesus. Whoa.
Jesus.
Be so sweet, no flaws. Sweet girl and warm, what could be your jaws? Fit for pole, pole P for all. What the teeth and the slop shorts. Jesus. Whoa.
Jesus.
Be so sweet, no flaws. Sweet girl and warm, what could be your jaws? Fit for pole P for all. What the teeth and the slop shorts. Jesus. Whoa.
Jesus.
Be so sweet, no flaws. Sweet girl and warm, what could be your jaws? Fit for pole P for all.
I can safely say that Caribbeans are some of the funniest people in the world. Wouldn't you agree? I'm Matea, and this has been Let's Talk Socials.
All righty then. Well, Matea makes it seem so easy. Good job, Matea. What a wrap-up for us, LaDon.
Great having you along with us this evening. Stay tuned, though, for the rundown with Clint Watson.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I don't know, but there's all kinds of cars in the parking lot. You ain't even know where to park. Yeah, just don't park in the... Look at this way. Like, you ain't get nowhere to go. Don't park him. Just don't park in the handicap spot.
Yeah, that's handicap.
No, you can't park in the handicap spot.
I ain't gonna be that long. I ain't gonna be that long.
Handicap spot,
Boy, what's going on, dog?
I tell you we shouldn't park here now. This way park here,
I tell you we shouldn't park here.
Don't get one of these things. My bad, big bro. And he got a sticker inside that say this mother. We gotta move. This is a handicap spot.
That's what we gotta move.
But we gotta move. Don't. We can move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
Did you know that if a fire starts in your home, you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape? Keep your family and home safe with these few fire safety preparation and prevention tips. Ensure that your home has working smoke detectors. They will alert you if there is smoke and fire in your home. Install a smoke detector on every level of your home, inside each bedroom and outside each sleeping area. Test smoke detectors every month and change the batteries every 6 months. Home fires can spread rapidly and every second counts. Create an escape plan and practice it with everyone in your home. Make sure everyone can safely escape in less than 2 minutes. Keep escape routes as clutter-free as possible so no one trips or falls on the way out during an emergency. In addition to smoke detectors, fire extinguishers is an important device to have on hand. To use a fire extinguisher, remember the acronym PASS. Pull the pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the handle, and sweep from side to side at the base of the fire. We must all do our parts to ensure that our families and homes are safe in the event a fire occurs. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, the Director of Fire Services, and all officers of the Fire Department, let's work together to help prevent fires, because fire safety is everyone's responsibility, and the life you save may be your own.
A lot of our young men and women, they look forward to being around the game of basketball so much because a lot of their community is infested with crime and violence. It's always been a passion of mine to make sure to channel these young men and women in the right direction to sports. Basketball and being in this environment is a safe haven for them in terms of what they need to do to get out. You have leadership conference to help these young men and women to understand the importance of making the right choice. I tell all of my athletes, when you go to school, help yourself. Stay focused. Use basketball. Don't let basketball use you. I love the game. The game has been good to me, and I just want to give back to the young people who have opportunity so the game can be good to them. Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
It's a joy, to help someone who is in need,
I'm proud to know that we are able to accommodate them with a hot meal, fresh meal, and a well-balanced meal.
a lot of our clients, as you know, it's in the inner city, and persons who really include and so much have lost their jobs. And for whatever reason, 2 months, 3 months, they really don't have anything.
You know, you have to have some kind of kindness to do this.
Abuse, domestic violence, suicidal tendencies. Are you being stressed out from these problems? Call the national hotline at 422-2763 or 322-2763. There are trained social workers available 24 hours to help you. Know that you are not alone in this.
By giving unconditionally, not expecting anything in return, I thought it was a wonderful way of showing this love, and I believe that it is love that truly draws people, and so I thought we could cover a lot more people by feeding. Volunteers, you know, they have truly been sold.
My passion is to help, and I thank God for what I can do through the help of Bahamas Feeding Network.
The thought of colon cancer never really crossed my mind until 2019, when a very good friend of mine was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. I was shocked. Everybody was shocked, because he was a picture of perfect health. He was young, athletic, successful, and full of life. Many of us are still in disbelief. I started to question my own health, because if it happened to him, surely it could happen to me. Then came the fear, the anxiety, and everything else in between. Facing your own mortality is very sobering. But for me, I decided right then to have a colonoscopy, and I'm glad I did.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer diagnosed in Bahamian men and women. Fortunately, almost all colon cancers are preventable. A colonoscopy or some other appropriate form of colon cancer screening is recommended for everyone over the age of 45. During a colonoscopy, we can detect and remove colon polyps that may grow and later become colon cancers. Don't wait until you develop symptoms, such as blood in your stool, abdominal pain, a significant change in your bowel habits, or unintentional weight loss. These may all be indications of a severe problem that requires immediate attention. If you're over the age of 45 or have any of those symptoms, talk to your doctor about the benefits of colon cancer screening today.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Dr. Gale, and I'm inviting you to be a part of a journey where we open the Word of God to receive strength, to receive empowerment from the Scriptures as they have been written. Get your Bibles, get your cup of coffee or your tea, because this journey is gonna be great. This is your day of victory.
Join us for the third episode of the SBDC's Business Blueprint. This week, we're tackling the navigation of economic uncertainty, strategies for resilience with our expert guest, Dr. Leo Roll. Learn how Bahamian businesses can thrive in the face of economic fluctuations, global market shifts, and local policy changes. Dr. Roll will share essential strategies to help you stay competitive and grow, no matter what the challenges may be. Don't miss the SBDC's Business Blueprint, Monday, November 18th at 9 p.m. right here on ZNS TV 13.
At Harold One, I'm Ted Jervis, and this is ZNS.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us tonight. Well, it's a big issue in this country, quality control. When it comes to goods and services in the Bahamas, it's something people are concerned about. Tonight, we meet the organization, yes, there is an organization, responsible to address this issue. They're newly established, and that means things can drastically change in the country. Tonight, we have a full discussion on the mandate to improve standards in this country. But first, a late-breaking story out of Abaco. That's where our Devontae Hanna is tonight for a series of town meetings planned by the Department of Social Services over the next few days. He's joining us live tonight, and also he's going to talk about an issue that may have taken place here at a popular spot that's been in the media recently, the Poinciana Inn Shelter, and whether or not there's any connection to the ongoing issues. That and more, we go live to Abaco with Devontae Hanna. Devontae.
And as you can tell from the commotion behind me, that Ministry of Social Services town hall has just wrapped up, and dozens of residents who were here listening to the minister and other executives from the Ministry of Social Services are actually now finishing their discussions here for that town hall meeting and now gathering after some discussions. But joining me right now is the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social Services, Mistress Fedra Turnquest. Ms. Turnquest, it was a long but short night, but I know it was a pretty informative night for both residents and for you as the PS in the Ministry of Social Services. What were some of the key concerns that the ministry will take from this town hall specifically?
For this evening, first of all, let me say that this is a continuing process that we are having with the nation. Last week we were in Grand Bahama and we isolated the portfolio of the Department of Social Services, specifically community support, which are the benefits or assistance programs offered. Tonight focused on disability. It says, let's talk disability. And with that, we added in the Department of Gender and Family Affairs. We added it also the Department of Social Services. Tonight, we have had persons who were interested in knowing how to access some of the services that we offer. For the disabled community specifically, they wanted to know about the walkers, wheelchair assistance, also how can they get assistance for their children who are disabled. We have the representative on hand for all of the town hall meetings that will continue tomorrow as well as Friday evening, Ms. Gillian Bethel of our Disability Affairs Unit. So she was able to speak to exactly what those amounts look like and how they can access them. You will find, however, that persons in Abaco have expressed the concern that the funds are not available at the local level in Abaco from the budget of the Department of Social Services. That is something that Minister said is an overall concern when we go throughout the islands. It means then that a larger allocation would have to be given to look at some of the matters that we're seeing coming forth on the ground, and I would expect that when we move into the new budget, as part of our justification, we can share some of this information so that we are able to tackle greater share to assist.
You mentioned that the Ministry of Social Services was back in Grand Bahama just last week. I know that this will be the first of 3 town halls here on the island of Abaco. But what I really want to know is, what was the impetus behind this national push to get people to actually know what it is that social services do? And even here tonight, where you spoke specifically about disabilities, what was the inspiration behind that and the driving force?
Well, with disability, it has been ongoing, and it's not just been this year. It's been previous. I think they've started it and perhaps as early as last year as well. But as a portfolio, we have taken the decision, and it is by the recommendation of the Honorable Minister, that if we are going to do the disability forums, we should add some of our key areas to the discussion as well. So tonight, it was not just what they promoted as Let's Talk Disability. You sat in, so you would have heard the questions pertaining to the Department of Social Services, the concerns expressed, the fact that at the beginning of the meeting, we told them, listen, if you have pending matters, if you have concerns, please see our officers at the back of the room. We do have an Assistant Director of Social Services from Grand Bahama on the island, because Grand Bahama is responsible for the island of Abaco. They fall under their purview. And so we're going to be doing that at every other meeting that we hold. Tomorrow's meeting will be in Sandy Point, Abaco. Friday's meeting will be in Marsh Harbor.
Of course, we heard about dementia. We heard a lady talk about her son having cancer. Of course, we heard from those people specifically with disabilities. But I actually want to shift gears a bit back to the Capitol. We know earlier today that there was a protest at Poinciana Inn, which is once again under fire. We know we had an issue with them just last week. That temporary shelter there that belongs to the Ministry of Social Services. Those security officers would have said, you know, we've not been paid for the month of October. They've also alleged that they were asked to do things that were outside of the scope of their work. We saw that the assistant director of the Poinciana Inn facility came on the defense, but I really wanted you as the permanent secretary to set the record straight. What exactly is going on with those security officers there at Poinciana Inn, and what is the Ministry of Social Services doing about it exactly?
Well, Devontae, I can only speak to what I am able to within this context, knowing that yes, there is a concern with Poinciana temporary shelter that we have, and that's on several levels. It's a very complex matter that is playing out very publicly. It's playing out in a manner that we see now the security officers have a concern. The concern of non-payment is not one that should be placed squarely on us. The government has its own rules and regulations governing policy, payment to vendors when we procure their services. You must present certain documentation to us, and you must remain compliant. Compliant being that if it's a business license, then it has to be up to date. If it is a tax compliance certificate that we call a TCC, then it must be up to date.
Are you saying that those are not, that the company providing these security officers, they're not compliant?
I will say that from what I have been advised, there is a breach that they are not fully compliant. Now, if they become compliant and all of the documentation is presented as it should, it says that it is presented to the entity where the services are delivered. The senior officer there normally would sign off and say, I certify with their signature that this was provided. It is then goes up the channel and it's paid. So in this case, it is the same protocol as I know it to be for other vendors, and so I do not expect that to differ in this case. So we would like the opportunity, if the vendor feels that, you know, this is dragging on, we'd like the opportunity to perhaps meet with that company. I know that my team has indicated to me that they have attempted on several occasions, and that has not happened. Perhaps they could speak to that and could say how early we can expect them to come to the table to discuss it with the acting director of social services. So we may seek to really air concerns that are going to be expressed on both sides. Very serious concerns, I'm sure. But let us speak about it and see if we can bring resolve to it.
If you are in a position to, can you say how long your team has actively been trying to get in a meeting with that company?
Well, I have been told that as recent, there should have been a meeting on Monday. When I asked for an update, I was told that the meeting did not transpire and that the company refused because they were told that they were awaiting payment. Now, the payment that you're awaiting was dependent upon something that you would need to do. And so I can speak no further to that.
I understand, Ms. Ramington-Quest. But, you know, how do we move on from here? Obviously, we had the issue of those residents alleging that they were kicked out of Poinciana Inn. Now we have this issue with these security officers. How does the Ministry of Social Services now take the bull by its horns and declare that Poinciana Inn is a safe place, one, and somewhere for those residents, people can use it for temporary shelters? How do we move on from this?
Well, we continue to press on, Devontae. The shelter is still a work in process. We are still doing upgrades. It may not be a perfect facility, but it continues to be in demand. And so if persons have no other alternative, as they have declared, then certainly it may be an option, just as we indicated, temporary, until we can bring it up to standard. And even when brought up to standard, it should remain just that, temporary shelter. It is not indefinite. This is why we have tried to proceed on a different course than previous years, where you continue to give assistance without putting a proviso on it. At this point, we are trying to introduce that if you are coming forward and you are asking us for the temporary shelter, if you continue to be a part of a repeat cycle, then obviously we need to intervene and we need to have some conversations with you. Can you please allow us to provide you with some financial counseling? Sometimes these things are tied to other challenges in the person's life, and we recommend psychological counseling. Sometimes they don't take our advice, but we try and we press on. If the children are there, we ask you, please keep your children in school. Please. I know that we have gotten people who have come forth, they've volunteered, they've done things like providing hot meals every single morning to make sure that the children are fed right there. And I said, you should recognize people who are doing things like that, but they have said, we do not wish to be recognized. We simply want to fill this need that you have indicated, that others have said is required. I want to encourage the public, if I may, at this opportunity. Persons are asking to move on. They may want a degree of independence. They need some place to live. Those who are trying and are working and are saving, perhaps you can come forward, adopt a family, try and help them in some way, mentor them, mentor the kids, be a support to them. We cannot allow the government to be the only support system. We are there when the safety net of your family has failed. That itself is another conversation, because as you heard tonight, someone expressed that their mother is not getting food assistance, and yes, she has several children, and yes, she has a nice house, but she should still get the assistance. And Minister explained, listen, assistance is not you're not entitled to it. It is not like national insurance when you contribute. You must apply, you must be assessed, and it is based on the poorest of the poorest.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Permanent Secretary Raming Turnquest. Obviously, a lot of issues, well, not really a lot, but a big issue happening in the capital. But tonight here, we're surrounded by positivity, getting those residents here on the island of Abaco the assistance that they need, even though, as you mentioned, the minister mentioned, it is scarce. The reality is it is scarce, and it is not something that people should feel entitled to, but rather something that people should fall on when they are facing extremely hard times. And of course, I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me right now. I know it's been a pretty long day for you, but real quickly, if you can just say where the residents in Abaco can find the Ministry of Social Services for the remainder of the week.
Well, for the remainder of the week, we will be on the ground, as I said before, in Marsh Harbor at our office. You'll be able to locate our offices there. But in terms of the town meeting, if you'd like to come out and you'd like to participate, we will be in Sandy Point at the James A. Pinder All-Age School, and then we will be in Marsh Harbor for our final closeout meeting. And so we invite you all to come out and participate.
All right, thank you so much, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All right, well, there you have it, Clint, an update from the Permanent Secretary Hall here this afternoon. I must tell you that it was a pretty interesting night. There were quite a few residents who had some questions for the minister, and it was nice to see where those residents got the direct chance to speak exactly with the minister, as well as heads from different departments within social services. So no matter what their concerns were, once the representatives here could have addressed it, it was addressed, and that's the reality of the situation. That's why they're pushing forward with these town hall meetings. And this, like she said, is not the first. It won't be the last. There are going to be 2 more here on the island of Abaco. Just last week, we were in Grand Bahama. There were several in the capital. And we understand that this effort will continue throughout the chain of islands here in the Bahamas. We know that there are also some inspectorates that are on the ground. This town hall is specifically all about disabilities and disability awareness. It's being led by the National Commission of Persons with Disabilities, and they're expecting contacting businesses and different establishments here on the island of Abaco to ensure that they are falling in line with those laws and parameters that are put in place to end the discrimination against persons with disabilities under the Equal Opportunities Act of 2014. But of course, P.S. Raming Turnquest also addressed the situation in the capital. She said, the reality is the business has to comply in order to receive that payment. We know that those those security officers, that is, came with their lawyer today with demand letters, and from what she said, we can gather that it's not the government that they need to protest against. It's actually their business or the company that heads the security that they need to speak to and to get into a meeting. She said that they've been trying to get in a meeting with this business for some time to resolve this issue on both sides so that concerns can be heard. But most importantly, she wanted to maintain that the Poinciana Inn remains a safe place for people to stay. It remains as a temporary shelter, and that means that you can stay there for a max of 3 months. And though there are some extensions on that time that you may stay there, the reality is there are more and more people that need help every day. We spoke to the minister just last week. He said that the Public Hospitals Authority are calling his phone and letting him know that, we have some people that are here at Princess Margaret Hospital and they need somewhere to go. And so what do they have to do? They have to, at some point, let people know that they've already been helping go so that they can help others. And she said that, they're not being just kicked out. They're being given the opportunity to receive financial assistance or financial advisement. They're being given the opportunity to receive psychiatric assistance. All of this are things where the people can feel as though they have a safety net, whether they decide to leave or stay. And so, of course, social services is a very important ministry here in the Bahamas, one that helps people across the country. And the reality is there are a lot of people that depend heavily on social services, even with their scarce budget. We know that that's a concern here for residents in Abaco, but that is also a concern for residents across the country. But for right now, from Cooperstown, Abaco, I'm going to send it back to you on the desk, Clint. I know that you probably have a busy show lined up, so I'll be watching.
Thank you, Devontae. We're going to go to a break and talk about quality standards and all of that important thing that you need to know when we come back. You're watching The Rundown with Devontae Hanna and Clint Watson. We're back after this.
That's the bear of the Bahamas. I like to go down. Oh yeah.
Our company has a simple philosophy: open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done. But at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
Hardware is the helpful place. Everything you need under one roof, from electrical, paint, plumbing, outdoor, barbecue, automotive, lawn and garden, pet supplies, houseware, and seasons. Hurricane season is now here, so for all your hurricane needs, we have a 25% off bargain zone.
Hey, thanks. I would have given more stuff, but I didn't bring my money. I thought this was a club, but I thought everything was free. Finally know what it is now.
We're located on St. Albans Drive, West Bay Street. Open Monday to Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and closed for lunch 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Welcome back to The Rundown. So great to have all of you with us tonight, especially those of you who are joining us on social media on YouTube, or if you're in the Lion's Den on, of course, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us. We just had a great update from Devontae Hanna, who's in Abigail, talking about what Social Services is doing there, particularly the Department of Disability Affairs. Tonight, we want to focus on something that's very important and vital to this country. I'll say it again, very important and vital to this country, and if we're going to succeed, if we're going to grow as a nation. So, who do you call when you have concerns about product quality? Who do you call it? If you have concerns about competitiveness for Bahamian goods and services, and even public safety, is there anyone responsible for ensuring international best practices and standards are evident in what we deliver in this country? We talk about it all the time. The answer actually is, for the first time in a long time, yes. And the entity responsible for all of that is called the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality. That actually exists. Yes, it's called the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality. Tonight we're here to talk about this newly established entity and exactly what their role is in ensuring quality control in the Bahamas. Please welcome to The Rundown Executive Director, Dr. Renee Ferguson-Buford. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Watson. Very good to be here.
I believe this is going to be a breath of fresh air for so many people, because we always talk in this country about standards, about quality of service, quality of product, and whether anybody's responsible for addressing it, whether anybody's responsible for actually certifying it, whether we are actually doing better as a country or we're doing a disservice because people can put anything out there and people in the public is complaining about what they're getting and there's nobody to address it to. So that people understand who you are, tell us the mandating role of the Bureau.
Yes. So thank you once again. And yeah, we hear people talking about standards all the time, and I listen and I cringe, you know, like, oh my gosh. We've been out there for a while. So the Bureau of Standards was established by 2 acts. One is the main act, which is the Standards Act of 2006, believe it or not.
Wow.
But it took many years to get us going. Yes, but the Act of Parliament, and the role of the Bureau is to promote standardization for goods, services, practices, and processes.
That's heavy.
Within the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, in an effort to ensure the consumer safety, health and safety of consumers and the environment.
Wow.
To protect our health as well, all in an effort to advance the economy of the Bahamas. That's one act. The other act that's under our mandate is the Weights and Measures Act, commonly called the Metrology Act.
Right.
And the responsibility is to regulate. This is a regulation part, all weights and measurement activities in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Wow.
So 2 very, very heavy, all under the umbrella of the Standards Act, but very heavy in their mandates.
Let's talk about the first one, which is standards and services.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So standards are, everything that we do is based on a standard. Everything you're doing here is based on some kind of guidelines, some kind of regulations. And so our role is to kind of put things in perspective and together. We're here to assist both the private and the public sector. And so standards are really developed by the market. And we are here to standards for food, standards for anything.
That's a part of you as well, because you know, the cross-section of concerns when you talk about food and the standards that are associated. Is there a bar that people have to be certified at when they're dealing with food?
So our role is to assist all entities, the private sector, the public sector, international, regional. We come together and we adopt standardization as Bahamas national standards. We must play a role with the public sector as well, the regulators, with consumer affairs, with Chamber of Commerce, because businesses control our country. And so we should get mandates from either the public sector or the private sector in developing or adopting standards. Because there is no reason really to develop a new standard, because there are hundreds of thousands of standards out there. So we are affiliates of all of the international standards body, and one of those, as you just mentioned, food, is Codex. So we have the International Organization for Standards, ISO. We have COPANT, which is Pan American Standards Organization. We are members of CROSSQ, the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality. All of these persons have developed standards. So when it comes to food, our job is to work with all of the relevant public sector and private sector organizations in declaring or promulgating standards as a national standard. And then it's the role, Clint, of the public sector to regulate or police those standards. We can't develop, adopt them, and also regulate. It's a conflict of interest. But we are here to assist if there isn't regulations going on, to ensure that we pull their coattails and say there needs to be some type of regulation.
Is there consequences of people who do not have regulations in place?
That's above my pay grade, so to speak, but there should be consequences in terms of if you're asking a question, is it, for instance, let's look at weights and measures. Our role, I don't want to get into metrology yet, but our role is to regulate that. So if someone is violating that, there are offenses.
For example, I know we talk about it in our next segment. For example, if you're selling, for example, lemonade, and you're bottling lemonade, and you're saying this is a 12-ounce bottle of lemonade, and when you weigh it or measure it, it's not 12 ounce.
Correct. Then we are responsible to verify that commercial scale to ensure that that scale, you are getting what you pay for, and that is properly calibrated. That is our role. That's the other Herculean task that we have on our hands at the Bureau of Standards. But where standards are concerned, so let's look at bottled water. This is one of the first standards that we would have adopted and promulgated. Our role is to work with the Department of Environment, the Ministry of Environment, to ensure that they are going to those bottlers, those manufacturers, and ensuring that, so we have several standards for bottled water. We have the specifications for that. What is in that water? So you have water on the table. We have developed a standard across and it's a global standard, but we tweaked it a little bit so you can adopt a standard if you think that there is some uniqueness of the way that we develop water. For instance, we bottled 5 gallons. That's not typical in many parts.
Very true.
Right, so we had to adapt that standard to make it more specific to what we do, particularly with us using those bottles over and over again.
Is that a problem?
So, well, it could be, because we have a standard that's a code of hygienic practice.
And that means you to ensure certain sanitization takes place.
That's correct. So we had to adapt it to suit the country because we actually use those bottles over and over again. So
and they go from household to household.
Correct. And so we have persons I was told that would take in the 5 gallons.
I ain't buy a 5-gallon bottle no more.
Well, 5 gallons and, going to the pumps and, putting other things in it. So we have to ensure.
Going to the family reunion with 5-gallon bottle of punch, fruit punch.
Fruit punch or some other stuff in it, yes. So we have to ensure that we have to ensure that the hygienic practices of those are. So that's where you have the regulatory bodies that come into play to ensure that the practices of the laboratories are adhering to the codes of practices that are in or the guidelines that are in.
I remember when there was a big concern. I remember as a reporter doing a story on water purification, and there was a report put out on the main water companies and what they found in the lab when they tested those bottles of waters from various companies, and the public went crazy because there were reports coming back about fecal matter and all of these things that were being found in these waters. Was the Bureau in place yet to be able to regulate, but to ensure that there was proper sanitization?
We've established and we launched in 2016. We had a very big launch in 2016. So we're not even 10 years, Watson. So the Bureau, the standard, I think, was actually developed 2017. So I'm not sure when that happened, but I do know that environmental health is out there, and they're doing their best because they do issue citations to many of the bottlers, because we're not just talking about Nassau, no, we're talking about bottlers. We have quite a number of bottlers all over the Eleuthera, Abaco, Grand Bahama and stuff. So we're talking about the mandate. It is a Herculean task when you develop a standard. And see, there are standards, majority of standards are voluntary. So, but when it comes to the health and safety of the environment or humans, there are times when that standard must have an application of being mandatory or a technical regulation that's applied to it. This is one of those standards where there has to be some controls. And particularly when it comes to food standards of labeling. You were talking about substandard products. So they're labeling of the standards, ensuring that the product actually says what it says, when the date of manufacturing, the date of expiration, those kinds of stuff, we must apply certain types of technical regulations to them.
And so all food that's packaged should have that information on it?
All foods that are packaged, because we actually have a food labeling standard. And the regulators of that would be agriculture or the Bahamas Agriculture and Health and Food Safety Authority. So we work in conjunction with the regulatory bodies. We work in conjunction with small business enterprises, depending on the standard. And we also work with public health, University of the Bahamas, researchers. We work with consumers as well. Anyone can sit at the table and help develop a standard.
I know our manufacturing industry is not really the largest in the, but are there standards that you have for manufacturing and goods? So
standards are developed based on a market. So for instance, let's look at, we're actually developing a standard now, well, not standard, a certification made in the Bahamas that we're here to talk about a little bit tonight, that will be a mark of quality for any product that is actually locally produced in this country. So I know we're going to talk about that. Right. So this is a standard now of, well, a mark of quality that can be used by any company, any business, a client, it could be one person that is actually locally producing their product in the country. So this is going to be a mark of excellence.
And once people carry that, then you know that this product has been approved.
That's right.
For market.
Correct, because the product will be based on industry standards. So it'd be specific. So if somebody is developing these glasses, they would have that particular standard that's specific to making of the glasses. And so standards, Clint, level playing fields. So what I mean by that is the standard for water, the standard for my glasses or my dye in my hair should always be the same globally. It shouldn't be that, it may be just the marketing of your product, but the standard with and maybe one or two deviations, but for the most part, a standard should be across borders so that anybody in the world should be able to pick up that and say, okay, this is what I developed. I mean, let's look at clocks or watches. There should be a leveled playing field, interoperability. So all of us should be able to work it the same way, maybe a little deviation, but the standard itself. for business.
Is it the same for services as well, or is it just goods?
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Depending on the type of service you have. So we have a standard you probably know about. I don't know if you've heard of ISO 9001, quality management systems. So businesses across the world can standardize the way they do business, so that the plan, do, check, act. So your plans and your methodologies, your systems, your processes should be very similar. It's just the business itself may have some deviations, but you should have a methodology in the way you do business and conduct business that you can transcend across the world. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
This is big for the Bahamas because you would think that any nation that's want to be on the map and developing and do trade internationally as a global market would have these things in place to ensure there's a certain standard and certain level and to protect the integrity of the country and the business sector. So obviously this is a very important thing. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk more about metrology. And of course, we're going to have with us the Chamber of Commerce president to talk about how they're embracing this important initiative, and then we get to talk about the standards a little more on the certification. You're watching The Rundown. We're back after this. Stay close.
That's the bear of the Bahamas. I like to go down. Oh yeah.
Just what is it that you want to do? And we want to have a good time. We want to be free to do what we want to do.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, but we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Welcome back to The Rundown. We're talking about the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality, which for most of you may not know, it's a new entity, but it's been around for some time, but they're now getting fully functioning to help bring a certain level of standards and quality in goods and services in the country. And of course, we've been talking in the past segment with the head of that institution and getting some understanding with Dr. Buford about really what their role is and their function is. And I want to introduce to the conversation President of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Leo Roll, who's been here before. Welcome back. To talk about how this is going to impact businesses. But I want to talk about, we started talking about metrology and the fact that that's another big aspect of what you did. And that is really responsible for the weights and balances.
Yes,
weights and measures, sorry.
Absolutely, no problem.
And let's talk about, we talked about the water, we gave the example of the water, but what are some other areas where this would come into play?
So weights and measurements. So like I said, we're responsible for ensuring all weights and measurement activities in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is intact, and that's a Herculean task. And we have not even scratched the surface. So right now, we are ensuring fair trade by verifying fuel pumps. All gas stations in the Bahamas, now we have probably not gone to all of the family islands, but we have been to a few of them. But every pump, if you check every pump, we will see the Bureau's sticker, a decal on there, to say whether it has passed, it's been verified and checked, or whether it has failed. So we ensure that you are getting what you paid for.
For example, if gas is $5.25 per gallon.
Per gallon.
You should be getting, you pay for, let's say, $15, $17. You ought to have 3 gallons of gas in your car.
You should have that in your car. And I will tell you, for the most part, the 3 service providers, even though we have some independent ones, they're still getting them from Sun Oil, Esso, which is Sol, and Rubis. They are doing a pretty fantastic job. Okay, since we sensitized, which we came out about 2016, we have found that they are really in compliance. They are really doing what they...
You're getting what you pay for.
Getting what you pay for. And if we have one that we put no on, a seal on, they come in and their technicians, we give them a certain amount of time to ensure that they bring that back into tolerance and stuff, and you do find that they do work, we work well together for the most part. And I hope my inspectors would agree with me on that, but we don't usually have a problem. But we also ensure fair trade at commercial places, grocery stores, the ports, all of the ports, mom and pop shops, restaurants, because this one is a huge task. So supply chains, we have the wholesalers, everyone that has a scale, Clint.
What about them airport scales? You know, people be telling me you're overweight with them bags. And I'm sure them scales would be rigged in the airport.
Yes, we do have some issues at the airports. I will
tell me about it. See, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Those scales. So you found that there's been some irregularities.
You have to look at them and you have to see which ones say do not use.
There are some that say that? Y'all travelers, are y'all paying close attention to this? When they're telling you you're overweight, you might be overweight.
I know I'm going to get in trouble, Minister. I'll probably get in trouble, but there are scales at certain ports that we need to work on them. And so the technicians do need to come out and do whatever they need to do to get them.
Everybody can be checking their scales tomorrow to the airport. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
So 2 services that we are working on, and we're also working with LGB gas cylinders, and we're ensuring that their scales also are up to performance as well in
so
compliance.
when you get your cooking gas, you'll make sure
we're making sure
that cylinder full.
Yes, that's properly. So we're also inspecting, and we're hoping to launch new services now. We're looking at high blood pressure machines. We need to verify those. So it's metrology and health. Very important, very important.
Because if it's not reading correctly, you can be misdiagnosing somebody, telling them they have high blood pressure, or telling them you're fine when they ain't fine.
They're not, yes. So there are a lot, so there's a lot to metrology. It's truly a Herculean task. And we are almost finished. We are launching a new metrology service, industrial metrology, where we'll be looking at initially mass metrology, where we'll offer calibration services to ensure precision in weights. And we're also moving to volume, hopefully, and other critical metrics for Bahamian. So right now we're doing mass metrology for a lot of the industries in Grand Bahama. All right, so the same petroleum, we're also looking at pharmaceuticals, etc. So we're moving to an even bigger area, so you'll hear much more about that. I'm happy to report that we would have won a grant under the 11th EDF for the country, and we just got all of our mass measurements, all of our equipment, and so we'll be launching that probably by the end of this year or the first of next year. So we will have a brand new lab in the country, and many times when a lot of our businesses are taking things to America or Central America, they no longer need to do that. We will offer those services to the country moving forward. So that's a really, really good thing that's going on here in the country.
I want to bring in Mr. President, because obviously, is this an initiative the Chamber is supporting? Because it's going to bring greater compliance to businesses. How is that being received?
Absolutely. So, Clint, I remember the last time I was here, you asked the question, well, you always speak about holding the government's feet to the fire, but who holds the business's feet to the fire?
Correct.
And so it went without saying, and it was a no-brainer when the BBSQ reached out to the chamber for support, and I opted to do it myself, just knowing and understanding the impetus that this has on the business community. So as the voice of the business community, we want to make sure that businesses are compliant. A part of being compliant and understanding those policies is first an educational campaign on what those policies are.
Right.
And so it was important for me then to be at the table with BBSQ to understand firsthand what those policies were, how do these impact the business community, what does the business community need to do to be compliant. And so we've been working with them now for a few months, and it's really been a great opportunity.
People don't understand how important it is to ensure these standards are in place. It takes everything you do in the country to the next level. If you've ever traveled anywhere and you've gone to maybe lesser developed countries and you see the substandard products and services, it's a turn-off to anybody coming there. And as a major tourist destination, we have to ensure that we are on our P's and Q's when it comes to doing business and goods. And I believe this is such an important thing to take the Bahamas to the next level.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Watson. It is very vital. So I've been in this for a while and have traveled to almost every CARICOM country, if not all. And we are coming out the gate pretty late, but it's advantageous to us because we can learn from all of the countries that have been in this business for a very long time. We don't have to be bottlenecked in. We can learn from their best practices and do it even better than some of them are. And we are actually doing it. We are actually rolling out even this industrial metrology service. Many of them are not there yet. So we've rolled out quite a number of services. We have a national quality policy. More than half of them don't have that quality policy. And that ties us in to every aspect of like I said, the regulators, the private sector, the international and the regional markets. So we are actually doing pretty well for someone who came out the gate very, very late. We're not even 10 years.
Italia Davies, who's in the Lion's Den, asks a very important question. I believe it links to what it has to say. She says, how does this apply to customer service, which is so lacking in the Bahamas?
Yeah. So you may want to answer that before me, or do you want me to tap into it?
So I think one of the biggest things or the biggest challenges, and we released a statement the other day speaking about, especially with the imminent threat of Amazon, how customer service is very important. Businesses have to be creative in how they want to attract but also retain their customer base. That may, yes, mean different marketing campaigns, loyalty programs, but customer service will make or break your organization. And so, as I mentioned the last time I was here, through the Chamber Institute, we have a certified business professional course with a customer service component where we teach entrepreneurs, but also those persons that work for these entrepreneurs, the ins and outs of customer service. But we go a step further, because what we realize is, yes, you can sit in a classroom, you can learn everything or you can garner everything that we teach you in the classroom, but is that being applied when you're on the job? And so we do secret shopper missions to walk in and to determine if, in fact, the pedagogy that you received in class is being transferred into your everyday life when you're on the job. And I'm sure Dr. Buffett and the team does even more than that.
Yes, so we do have standards. Like I told you, 9,001 quality management systems. There are other types of labor standards that we can adapt or adopt to suit the needs of the market. So if that person is interested in developing some type of customer service standard, we can do the research that's necessary. Nothing is new. We don't need to reinvent wheels. We can come to the table, bring all of the relevant expertise at the table, the experts themselves, and we can develop the standards. But we do have a suite of standards, and you can come to us and we can look at them and see if it suits what your needs are. We can offer those trainings, certifications, because we are members of all of these relevant bodies, and they do come from time to time, and we do trainings. We do trainings for labs, we do trainings for regulatory bodies, etc., and we can do trainings for private sector personnel.
All right, we're going to take our final break. When we come out, we're going to talk to you about the Made in the Bahamas certification. It's taking place tomorrow. They're launching it tomorrow. What does that mean? If you're a business person, why you should be there, and what it will require in order for you to become certified. We'll do that right after the break before we close. We're back after this. Stay close.
Okay, good.
My light John Cano, with a collet gold and a right love for my
Our company offers a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done. But at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
Welcome back to the show. Before we're closing tonight, we're talking about something you need to understand, the Bureau of Standards and Quality. And tomorrow night will be the launch of the certification made in the Bahamas certification program. We're going to tell you what that is all about and why, if you're a business provider, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a creator of products, you need to understand why you need to be certified. So tell them about tomorrow, first of all.
So, Clint, thank you so much. We're so excited to be here to talk about a new initiative made in the Bahamas Certification Mark. It's aimed to promote, highlight locally produced products in the country. So it provides a criteria, a structured pathway to help businesses, macro, micro, small, medium enterprises who have been doing business in this country for a long time, making their products, but we want to showcase it and give it that mark of excellence that it truly deserves. And you have to follow a certain criteria to get there, but this then takes you, catapults you, sets you apart, gives you that competitive edge, and we're just excited to promote it.
You're going to be there, Chamber's going to be there endorsing this, obviously a big initiative.
Absolutely. One of the biggest things for the Chamber is that the program supports our mandate to support the evolution and growth of MSMEs in the Bahamas. And so when we look at this unique mark, it will, one, add a level of flair to these products and services that are locally grown. It'll also enhance customer trust and reliability, or even recognizability, both locally and internationally. Because you always look at products and you see, well, made in Taiwan, made in China. Why don't we have a made in the Bahamas?
I'm so excited that we're finally getting our own tag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And doing it properly, yes.
Absolutely.
It's certifying
so it helps
properly.
us to then put these businesses in a position where they're able to compete locally, but also compete globally with a national quality of standards.
And this all takes place tomorrow, where and what time?
So tomorrow at the Holy Trinity Activity Center at 5:30. So we'll have a little meet and greet. We have 14 vendors. So we're looking to showcase the various types of being a diverse set of Bahamian businesses. And we'll have all of the relevant personnel, like the Chamber, like the Manufacturing Association, Trade and Tourism. They've all been working with us in collaboration. We'll all be there with our own booths. We have a great attendee, participants that have registered. So we're looking forward to, it's a town hall meeting. So it's a meeting to actually consult with our Bahamians. We don't want to just come and say, this is what we're doing. We want to talk to them, tell them about the criteria that's necessary, and provide feedback, hear what they have to say about it. And then we will check, plan, do, evaluate, and then come back and launch the services. So all tomorrow at Holy Trinity Activity Center, 5:30 p.m., and they can register at madeinthebahamas.org. info.
I'll give you one of the closing remarks, and then I'll let you close.
Yes.
What do you want to say about this giant initiative to keep our people certified?
So I think this initiative helps the business community. We always talk about the impetus for the business community to not only grow, but to expand beyond our four corners of the Bahamas into those international jurisdictions. This type of standard, this type of quality helps businesses to do that. And so I welcome all businesses, all entrepreneurs, even consumers that are looking to see what the businesses should be doing and what those standards are that they should be adhering to come out tomorrow night and listen to us.
Thank you, Dr. Rolls. You have the final comment.
Well, I want to talk about the mark. Don't forget that tomorrow we're unveiling the mark. We've had, I think, 80-something participants. Designers that gave in their design, and we are going to unveil that mark tomorrow. And everyone in attendance, even if they're streaming, will be able, using Slido, to actually vote on. So we've shortlisted it to 3 candidates, and they're going to be present tomorrow, and we will actually do it in live time. We'll see who that winner is, and we'll give them their gift and presentations or whatever, and the minister will be there to unveil it. So the importance of this, Clint, is you have a mark of excellence or authenticity that you would not have. You may see some things that may say made in the Bahamas, but it's fake. It's not real.
Yeah.
So we are going to help to authenticate it. You craft it, we're going to authenticate it.
Sounds good to me. Yes. Both of you, thank you for joining us. And of course, we look forward to a successful launch tomorrow.
Yes.
Appreciate it. And this is definitely something needed in the Bahamas.
Absolutely.
And we're going to new levels of that. Thank you so much. That does it for all of us here at The Rundown. For all of us, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for being a part of ZNS News. Of course, don't forget to join us for our last newscast of the night, 11 o'clock news tonight with Royston Jones. Royston's in the house? Oh, he's over there in the house preparing for the 11 o'clock news. So join him at 11 tonight. For all of us, thanks so much. Have a great night, everyone. Good night.
At Fort Montague, I'm Opal Roach. This is ZNS.
With a changing climate and advancing technology, the way we design and build in the Bahamas is evolving. Today, we're diving into the upcoming amendments to the Bahamas Building Code, changes that promise to strengthen resilience, improve efficiency, and redefine our construction standards.